I am so sorry, Arizona. Hello, this is Carrie O'Donnell from Tarot Soul Writer. And if you would like a personal reading with me, please go to my website, tarotsoulwriter.com, press book a session, and I would be happy to do a reading for you. So this is a short video, and I felt I needed to come on to first say, I am so sorry, Arizona.
Sorry, bro.
Completely forgot you in the last video. And I also realized when I was going through the roll call, I don't think I said what Arkansas was.
Oh, no.
They were on the map, but I actually didn't declare them red or blue officially. So sorry to Arkansas. We're going to talk about them in a minute. And I forgot to put Kansas on the map. So my electoral count was off. But then I thought about it. Like I was like, okay, I did a little retraction on the community board. Then I thought about it all night, thinking these are mistakes I don't usually make. And there were a lot of comments like Kansas. Kansas is really turning blue. Are you kidding me? I don't believe that. Even a few people from Ohio, they were very angry about the red prediction. Oh, it's going to turn blue. I know it's going to turn blue. You're wrong. And these are states that are on the edge. So I decided to first take a look at some of the states that I missed. And second, take a relook at some of those states that were really controversial. So let's first start with Arizona. I did get Arizona right on the edge, and that's why I put them on the map as pink. I still get them leaning red. The cards were back and forth. The pendulum and the dowsing rod seemed to be leaning red, even though the card said there was a lot of hope for Arizona. So erring on the side of caution, I always go with where the energy is mostly going at this time, and that was red. I wrote down, not sure, on edge, undecided voters. They are getting grounded. They are getting clear. They're trying to find some balance. Some people are in protection mode, protecting their power. There will be conflicts, counting, but Kamala is celebrating in the end. I thought that was interesting because, like Texas, I get this sort of happy outcome. But when I asked directly, are the electoral votes going to Kamala Harris? I got no. So right now, even though Arizona went blue for Biden, I understand that. And I also understand that this is really on the edge. This can change. I'm going to call it leaning red. However, you got to get out there, vote. If you're out there in Arizona, for those people who are not in Arizona, let's pray that the truth comes out, because like Texas, I felt all this blue energy, but the answer to the electoral votes going to Kamala Harris at this time was a no. Arkansas. I completely left out Arkansas, and I am going to call Arkansas red, but there's some very interesting things going on there. I have done a couple of readings in which I'm getting some flip-flopping in the energy, which is, I think, very interesting because the governor there, Sarah Huckabee, obviously is very red, very much part of this MAGA cult-like force that has taken over the country. And so you would assume it would be red, but there's a lot under the ground, a lot under the surface in some of these red states. And I wrote very specifically, angry and passionate females. So women's rights and women being limited as far as their health care and their rights is a huge issue for people on the ground in Arkansas. But then I heard no, like they weren't going to have the electoral votes go to Kamala Harris. But there are people holding a candle of hope. I got the sense that there would be some people who wouldn't vote in Arkansas because they didn't feel that their vote mattered or their vote counted. And I think this is why I get it going red or leaning red. So if you're in Arkansas, please, your vote matters. If you have relatives, if you have friends who have that apathy, please tell them your vote very much matters, because there is blue energy bubbling under the surface of Arkansas, especially with women. Kansas. Let's address Kansas. I forgot to put them on the map. And so I had them blue, and I had gotten blue pretty much. Like I didn't feel like I had to do a deep dive soul writing session, but people were taken aback by that. And so I did do a deep dive this time just to get some more information and to make sure I was correct. I'm going to make them leaning blue because my yes/no spread was 4-4. So it is a real split state. It is a state that's on the edge as far as which way it's going to go. It's not hardcore red. Now, someone in the comments said that near the cities, there are a lot of blue pockets. And I have to say that I know that to be true. My sister lives in Kansas. My nephews all grew up in Kansas, but they were in the suburb of a city. And the attitudes in those areas where my family lives are very much blue. So I have to say, watching the temperature in Kansas, that is very much true. What I'm getting here, this energy is getting organized and it's spreading. I wrote feminine energy organized. The storm recedes. So much disinformation, but the people remain grounded. Females cut through. Kansas takes a giant leap forward. Again, pendulum said no, dowsing rod said yes, but the energy and the message was that Kansas takes a giant leap and that there is something on the ground that's really organizing, especially around women's issues again. And I do know that Kansas, tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that they were one of the first ones to put abortion on the ballot, and they struck down abortion bans. So yes, feminine issues could be a tipping point in Kansas. I'm going to put them leaning blue. I looked at Ohio one more time. I keep getting Ohio turning red. And unfortunately, I get Ohio turning red again. I know it is a borderline state. I did get in the yes/no spread for yes, for no. So you're right. I mean, it's right on the edge as far as the overall attitudes of people on the ground. But the message was darkness versus love, trying to reverse a guilty verdict. We want to reverse the chaos. So there are two messages. Darkness is saying something about they want to reverse a guilty verdict. So there might be something related to the courts, something that shenanigans that they don't want to get out. And then the love side. And I think those are the people. And they're like, we want to reverse the chaos. So there were two voices, very, very split. I wrote the state struggles, twists and turns. Eventually, love will rule, but not now. So this is the beginning of a transformation for Ohio. And I feel like there are forces in place that are going to move the needle red. And I keep getting that. I'm so sorry, Ohio, and I hope I'm wrong. Like I pray all the time that the states that I get as red will flip. I really do. But right now, that's just what I'm getting. I wanted to take one more look at North Carolina. North Carolina is also on the edge every time I read them. But I got again that the electoral votes were going to go to Kamala Harris on my pendulum with my dowsing rods, even in the cards. And I wrote, they will celebrate soon. Women are not done fighting. So again, even though they've had some weather issues in North Carolina, it seems like it's women's issues that are tipping the scales in that state. And I do get them leaning blue. So I had to fix my electoral map. I somehow put Kansas as red. I changed that to leaning blue. Everything else came out the same, even when I did a double check. So the up in the air states leaning red are Arizona, Texas, Wisconsin, Indiana, and Kentucky. I am just going to call them as leaning red. That does not mean that they won't flip. These states are on the edge. So we really want to focus our prayer and our energies to those states. Then the states that I feel are up in the air but leaning blue are Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. Florida would be a huge upset. Huge. In fact, I almost don't even believe it. And I really am worried about Georgia because I do get a lot of shenanigans in Georgia. However, I do get the end result, like it was for Biden's election, as blue. So we need to send our prayers out to make sure that that blue energy still prevails. I get a total of 334 electoral votes for Kamala Harris and 204 electoral votes for Donald Trump. This is with my corrected mistake. So fingers crossed. I even did the map without Florida just in case that was too good to be true. And she still wins by a really good and respectable amount. But if my map comes true, I would consider this a landslide victory. So fingers crossed. Again, I'm sorry for the mistakes, but hey, it gave me a chance to clarify and to take a look one more time just to make sure that the answers I was getting were clear. So you have a good rest of your day. Don't forget to vote, and I will be talking to you real soon. Bye-bye.